Get ready for another microdose. And hey, if this information is jiving with you, then check out the full episode. The link is in the show notes. Enjoy the ride.
So I think we initially spoke about failure, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you fail and you fail better. And you can't fail better until you build vulnerability into the system. Because often with the way the society is built, with failure comes shame. And unless you develop the ability to handle that shame, to be vulnerable with yourself and tell yourself, oh, look, I failed, you can't move on to the next step. And that to me is an important part of a grit process. I mean, you can't like shove things under the carpet and say, and also because vulnerability is a moment of self-reflection too, it's a moment of awareness, right? I mean, I am feeling this, or I'm facing this, and I'm facing this because of this. And what is it that I can do to change it? Or am I okay with it? Like if I fail, I'm okay. It's okay. We often talk about like here in mental health, right? I mean, it's okay not to be okay. So it's okay. Right. It's okay to fail. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to feel that shame. It's okay. So that's why I think it's an important part of being gritty and, being resilient.
Without that self-reflection, which I really love that you tied vulnerability to self-reflection, without that self-reflection in that, like, we're never going to be able to fail better, and it's in the failure that we learn. If we always were succeeding, right, everything we ever did, like, well, that's impossible because success and failure are two sides of the same coin, right? But it's like, you bring up some great, what we are at our core, we talk about on the show all the time, are emotional beings. Feeling beings with our feeling brain. And the more we get into that's SEL, the social and emotional learning, and we learn about ourselves at this emotional level, then we don't have to be drowned by the fear, the guilt, or, the shame that comes along with failure or not aspiring to some sort of goal, perhaps. But that really is like John, you're really a big fan of grit. Like, that's a huge component of grit. It is, talk from your own experiences, if you like.
Oh, absolutely. I am in full agreement, and I'm in full agreement, but I've never heard it kind of weaved in with vulnerability and the SEL side of things. And I love that. And I fully agree. And what you mentioned, Will, doing that introspective work and reflection and kind of figuring out who you are and where you want to go and then how you failed, but also why you failed, right? And figuring out and learning from that and then failing better. You've heard the term failing forward, right? Fail forward and learning from those failures. And I mean, it's only a failure, a true failure, if you don't learn from it. That's how I see it. If you fail and you learn, that's an experience and you're going to be better for it. And as far as that introspective work, Shilpi, you talked about in your article, how mindfulness helps to develop grit, but you talk about how exploring your mind is such a massive opportunity to let go. And a lot of the time, people are afraid to explore their minds. They're afraid to be alone with their thoughts or alone in their quiet mind and see where things go. Can you explain what you mean by not exploring your mind is such a massive opportunity to let go?
So, you both are mindfulness practitioners, right? So, so every time we tend to sit with our thoughts, and every time we tend to sit with our feelings or just sit with our breath, is a massive, to me, unraveling moment of our habit patterns, right? I mean, it's very hard to actually reflect on your own self and your life and to see how you became who you are, right? I mean, how did you develop those specific habit patterns? Neuroscience now sort of backs all of this, right? I mean, the more of what you do, the more of that you become. And in the letting go process is not just the letting go of your thoughts and feelings. It's also a part of you that sort of is making you repeat those behaviors. Like, for instance, I mean, I'll give you my example. I used to really, really overthink. I used to read into people's minds before, they even, spoke to me. Like, I would like just imagine things, and I would, oh, he's not talking to me because, of a certain reason. Or, I mean, it happens to all of us, right? I mean, these little storytelling that we tell ourselves, and
Sure.
those are all, it's a philosophy of samskaras. Those are all like, habits that we have formed over the course of our life, what our mind has learned as we grew older. And those have sort of become our reactionary modules, right? I mean, I call it a module sort of a thing. So when we sit with ourselves and we are able to sort of dissect our reactionary modules, why we are reacting a certain way, we are able to take a pause and let go of that habit of reacting and sort of responding to every single moment of our lives. So here I'm not saying let go of a past event, or let go of, a hurt, or I'm saying let go of yourself, like let go of a part of yourself that is making you behave a certain way, or think a certain thing, or feel a certain thing, because that part was sort of formed over multiple years of experiences. So, I mean, I don't know.
No, I like it. That's really what you're kind of, what I'm hearing is you're kind of asking to get to center, and we're in the center, we're in the here and now. So therefore, we can be like, oh, okay, that's shame. That's bothering me. Oh, that's just an imaginary thought about somebody that hasn't even, just the way they showed up in the room. I'm like making some massive imaginary assumptions about that person, which has absolutely no basis in any kind of reality or fact. Yeah. Right. So just by being more mindful and being, that's why John and I, that's why we do the show, right? To teach people, or to help people move into the direction of mindfulness, whether that's a contemplative practice like journaling or meditation, or finding your breath to get in the here and now. So we can kind of, we should have maybe a second name, John, like, something about like, grounding yourself, men grounding themselves, or like, or just, that's a terrible name, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just like get in.
You just told yourself a story about the name, Will. Yeah. I thought it was really good. It was a negative story that you told yourself.
Well, maybe it will work, right? What the hell do I know? But that's like what all of this, what this work is about, is letting go of the stories, and getting in. And you even mentioned it's also, we have learned behavior. Like if we have parents or people that are, or siblings that are very reactionary and have never really developed mindfulness and emotional intelligence that comes with mindfulness, or just, that those opportunities just stop, right? Just to stop and stop reacting and just take a moment and breathe. That's how, we can continually move through the world in that way, for sure.
No, I mean, coming to parents, I mean, I'm always talking about whole parents. So I just wanted to add a little bit here. So we all become a parent's parent. Like, I mean, we become the parents that our parents were, right? I mean, those are learned behaviors that we had acquired subconsciously. So part of that letting go is also letting go of that parent that you had acquired. And that comes with a lot of reflection, self-reflection into your own parenting habits. And, unless you do that inside out work with yourself, you can't really become a whole parent either, like whole human beings, whole parent.
Hey, thanks for joining us on this journey. Small doses lead to big changes. If you're vibing with this snippet, then take a listen to the full episode by clicking the link in the show notes. If you would like to plug in deeper to what we're doing, head to mentalkingmindfulness.com or text MTM to 33777. Until next time, peace.